It was an exciting time, and its impact was felt throughout the country. As you might imagine, there were many musical pioneers in that era, both black and white, although many of the blacks never received recognition.
We have with us tonight one of those pioneers, one of the principal composers of Ragtime, who, along with partner Noble Sissel, made important contributions on the musical stage. Ladies and gentlemen, Eubie Blake.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Eubie Blake, and I was born in Baltimore in 1883 of slave parents, both my mother and father. And if you notice, when I first came in, a pretty little brown-skinned lady led me in. I have a reason for even saying that, is that most people think that musicians are drunkards. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't drink at all. I never take a drink. I will now play you the first number that I ever composed. I usually say I ever wrote, but I couldn't write music in 1899. I could read music, but I couldn't write music. I'll play you the Charleston Rag that I composed in 1899. That's a long time ago, isn't it? I'm telling you. Charleston Rag, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I forget a lot of things. You know, off stage you know a lot. Oh, yeah, Professor Jones don't know more than I do off stage, but when you get on the stage, you don't know so darn much, you know. See, you forget things. You know, I used to play in Atlantic City at Belmont Cabaret. I could tell you the name of the 63, but I can't, you wouldn't know anyhow. You were too young, all of you were too young. Well, I had a song called, a number called Tricky Fingers. And it used to, a fella came in the, used to sit in there 3 nights in the week. James P. Johnson. James P. Johnson. Some of you should know him. He was one of the greatest pianists of our times. James P. Johnson. Now, I want to tell you about him. I had composed this number. Tricky Fingers is the name of the number. Very difficult to play. Now, and in those days, we Negroes didn't belong to any union, so you played until you dropped dead in the morning, then you were off, you understand? You don't get that. You go to work at 9 o'clock, and you're so tired along at 5 o'clock, so we call it dropping dead, then the boss lets you off, see? So anyhow, the fellas used to come in that played somewhere else, see? And I'd say, Charlie Johnson, Slewfoot Nelson, those fellas, take me down about 15 minutes, see? And this boy's sitting there. I don't know who this boy is, see? But this night, nobody came in. So he says, he was so young, they give him sarsaparilla to drink. You know, he couldn't have been over 16 years old, but he had on long pants. He couldn't get in there. Anyhow, he says, Mr. Blake, can I take you down about 15 minutes? I said, do you play the piano? Well, yes, I played a little bit. I said, yeah? I said, yeah, you go ahead, play. And he played this number. I want you to listen how technical this number is, fingering, see? And this boy played it and never made not one mistake. It didn't change one part of my harmony. Now, this is how it went. Tricky Fingers. I forgot. I played that allegro. That means fast. Those are not musicians. And this boy played it at vivace, which means as fast as possible. Now, I can't play it that way, see? Never could, see? Ladies and gentlemen that are not musicians, that was almost an impossibility for that boy to do that. To show you what it can do if you're young and can remember. He never changed the chord or nothing. He played, I can't play that good now. He played it twice. Uncanny. Oh, of course I will.
We'll take a brief pause and return with a discussion on music from the vaudeville days. Let's talk about vaudeville. I understand you had to travel quite a bit, in fact, months at a time. How would you describe a typical day?
Well, getting up 5 and 6 o'clock in the morning, make 8 o'clock trains, that was a terrible part of it. Oh, I hated that, because show people don't get up that time. 5 o'clock in the morning, you just go to sleep. That's the part I didn't like.
What about the bill itself? Where did you find yourself playing?
Right there.
On the bill itself.
We played, you mean on B.F. Keith?
Right,
yeah.
right.
Number 2, all colored acts, not only us, all colored, from Bojangles to Boston Fried, Dancing Dots, and all of them. But they were tough to follow, see, because you had to be twice as good as anybody on the bill, almost, to get on the key. So they would push you down further, because say for instance, you're going to follow me. No, I don't follow that guy. So they push it down further. And further down, you're supposed to get more money. But we never got it, only $300. We got $400 a week once at the Palace. That's the only time that's why we took bands out. So.
You know, there are many people that believe burlesque and vaudeville were, pretty much the same thing. Is that true?
Well, burlesque was a school for comedians and soubrettes and leading ladies. See, now Florence Mill was a soubrette. Paul, what's his name? I can't think of his name.
Bert Law, is that it? The comedian?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And now he came from burlesque. He played I can't remember what he played. Anyhow, I know so many big stars now that were in burlesque when I knew them, when they were young fellows, see? And they got their start there. Girls, the soubrettes. That's the girl that wore the short dress and sang the flirtation songs and all. And then Florence Mills was a soubrette in Chef Long.
I know you have some favorite tunes from that particular period. Would you please start with Troublesome Ivory?
Troublesome Ivory?
Right.
I certainly will.
All right.
Troublesome Ivory, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I wrote a number called Chevy Chase, and people think that I named it. I didn't name it. Mr. J.W. Stern, who had a publishing house, he named it the Chevy Chase. And I'll play it for you now. Let me see. I think he was the most wealthy composer, publisher, living out of Sherman. His publishers don't make much money. I did big money, I mean. But this fellow did. I will play now the Chevy Chase. It's written in the key of D minor. Talk to me, baby.
One of the landmarks in American musical theater was the Broadway musical Shuffle Along. And Eubie's going to play a medley of tunes from Shuffle Along when we return. Carol, what about Broadway in the 20s?
Well, Claude, I know that musical comedy had its greatest moment during those times. And most of the great blacks in music struggled through this feast to famine period.
What immediately comes to mind is that many people believe that blacks have only recently achieved a great degree of prominence in the American stage, when in fact for more than a century, black Americans like Noble Sissle and Eubie Blake have made important contributions.
Eubie, tell us about Shuffle Along.
I'd be glad. You know, Millen Lyles and Sissle and Blake wrote the score. Millen Lyles wrote the book of Shuffle Along. And I don't know how much time I have. I'm just going to take you to tell you about one gentleman come every night in the show, up until Friday night. And he said to me, I conducted the show. I'm a conductor too. Did you know that? No, you didn't know that. Well, I am a conductor. Anyhow, this gentleman said to me, you know, I guess you wonder why I come to see Shuffle Along so often. I says, no, I don't know. He says, I'm waiting for one entendre, a double meaning, a smutty joke, or one hell, or one damn. It's not in the show. And I thought that was one of the most great compliments I could have of the show. And now I will play, what do you want me to play now? Put up your card. What do you want me to play? Shuffle Along. I'm going to play the medley from Shuffle Along. And the first number is Bandana Days. The second number is Love Will Find a Way. I will try and sing that. And then the next number is Gypsy Blues, the number that made Florence Mills famous. And then I'm Just Wild About Harry, that made Lottie G famous. And I'll play the 4 numbers, all right. memories of you and many other songs I've written, that Cecil and Blake will never have to be in the street doing, yeah. Not anymore. Not anymore. The word has taken care of that. What's my next number? Oh, my goodness. You know, is Miss Wilson, Edith Wilson, I always look the wrong place for the girls. I don't know. I must be careful. Always look the wrong place. Miss Edith Wilson, ladies and gentlemen.
Edith Wilson was the star of the second version of Shuffle Along.
Hi, Eubie.
Hello, darling.
Well, how you doing?
Well, I'm doing good for an old man my age, you know.
Well, carry on.
I'm trying.
As I know only you would do. That's it. Whenever you're near, all my fears disappear, dear. As plain as can be, Eubie, you're lucky to me. My only luck charms are your two loving arms. Anybody can see, Eubie, you're lucky to me. No harm can happen to me anymore, 'cause I'm writing 13s all over my door. My mom and my dad thought that my luck was bad. Now, like me, they agree. Eubie, you're lucky to me. So whenever you're near, all my fears disappear. Dear, it's just as plain as can be.
Sing it, Mama, sing it.
You're lucky to me. My only luck charms are your two loving arms. Anybody can see you're so lucky to me. No harm can happen to me anymore, 'cause I'm writing great big 13s all over my door. My mom and my dad thought that my luck was bad, but now like me they agree. Eubie, you're lucky to me. Yada, yada. Yes, sir. Thank you. You know, you're lucky to me because it's gotten so that every time I turn around, somebody's saying, you should reduce. What for? For every fat gal, there's a thin man. So I don't want it to be said that when I go home and my husband goes home and he feels all over the bed saying, where's my baby? I want him to just put his hand out anywhere and say, there's my baby. Because I'm a great big baby craving for a little love. I'm kind of hefty maybe, still I know how to love. 'Cause I've got two lips and got two arms, got a lots of other charms. Want some big He-Man step up? I dare you. Now don't let my size scare you. I'm a great big baby who wants to be your honey lamb. There'd be a lot to claim me if they knew how sweet I am. Now why should these big he-men approach with caution for this big extra special portion of a great big baby who's craving for a little love? I'm just a great big baby craving for a little love. I'm kinda hefty, maybe, still I know how to love. Cause I got two lips, and I've got two arms, and I've got a lot of other charms. Want some big he-man? Step up, now I dare ya, double dare ya. Now don't let my size scare you. I'm just a great big baby, oh, craving to be your honey lamb. I know there'd be lots to claim me if they knew how sweet I am. So tell me, why should you men approach with caution? Just look, a extra special portion of a great big baby who's craving for a little love.
Oh, baby. That's got it, Curly.
Partner Noble Sissle were in one of the first sound motion pictures. It was made in 1922.
And the way of being the best no one can fall in his eyes. Just hypnotize you, just hypnotize, mesmerize, and all hands to kiss this man's what hands. That word from dance, but the thing he does because the girl is praying. It's when he holds him in his arms and calls him baby. Don't lie, a goodness land, there's no other man like that loving daddy, affectionate man.
The early 30s ushered in the Great Depression, money was tight, and the jazz age was over. Eubie, how did musicians like yourself make it through the Depression without having to give up their craft?
Well, we did what they call gigs. Incidentally, Jim York gave it that name. Gigs. I mean, going on a job here and a job there. Make ends meet. We made ends meet that way.
Wasn't it during this period that you and your buddy Noble Sissle split up in Europe?
No, we didn't split up in Europe, no. We split up in, we did never split up. But he took a band because I was telling someone that we asked for $600 a week in vaudeville and they wouldn't give it to us. So in order for us, now here we had just come out of a show, we star in our own show, and they wouldn't give us $600 a week. So that's why Sissle took a band and I took a band and went out. And Cole Porter was the one that placed Sissle's band in Paris. And I forgot the fellow who placed my band. I was just traveling around. It was too much for me. I getting kind of up there in age then. I couldn't stand that. Right.
J.P. Johnson's most famous composition is, of course, the Charleston, and let's hear it.
Yeah, I hope the audience won't get his Charleston mixed up with mine, because I wrote mine, 1899. I know his mother and father weren't even born. I'll play the J.P. Johnson medley. The first number is called the Charleston. It's the Charleston dance. And the next number is called I can't think of the name. Something about love. The old-fashioned love. And the third number is called If I Could Be With You 1 Hour Tonight. I see a lot of brown-skinned ladies I'd like to be with if I were young. Not now, not now. Charleston. Tricks, you know.
Delightful guest and one of his latest compositions.